If I can have your attention here in the Media Center, we are now joined by Matt Kenseth, driver of the number 6 Wyndham Rewards Ford for Roush Fenway Racing. Hope the school bus driving went well for you while you were waiting to get back in the car. But, you know, the last time you were on this stage in a Roush Fenway car, you were here as a winner. And I remember you got really emotional after that win. It was a very special moment for you to get that win in a Roush Fenway car. How special is it now for you to be back in the organization and going forward?
Yeah, I mean, the last few weeks have been fun. Obviously, just trying to get, a little bit caught up and kind of reacclimated there with, the system and the people and what's changed and that kind of thing. And been anxious about, today and getting back in the car. So I'm hoping everybody can get through tech and get on track in time. There's not a lot of practice today, so I'm pretty anxious about getting in the car, kind of seeing where we're at, what my comfort level is. Where we're at speed, what we got to work on for tomorrow, that type of thing. So just ready to get going.
Good. We'll start here with Todd, then go to Lee, and then to Brent.
Hey, Matt. Todd Palmer, Kansas City Star. Matt kind of alluded to it. Last time here, you've had some success on this track. Does this feel like the perfect place for you to kind of come back, get your feet wet again because of that?
Yeah, actually, last time here, they told me I couldn't race anymore, and we had to load up last fall, I think. So that was the last time I was here. Was not a very good emotion. Kind of that was our last race of the playoffs last year. But it is a fun track. It's fairly straightforward. It's been a great track, I think, since the repave and the banking changing, and so it's a good track, especially for an intermediate. So I do look forward to that.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Somebody just asked on Twitter whether or not, why would you go to Roush if you didn't think you could be competitive? And my response was, I don't think you would have come off the sidelines if you didn't think you could be competitive. How are
Somebody on Twitter reading minds again?
Exactly.
Yeah, I never said I didn't think I could be competitive. If I didn't, I certainly wouldn't be here. So I feel good about the direction that Roush Fenway Racing has taken the last couple of years. Certainly all the Fords are very competitive this year. The 17 has shown, a lot of speed on and off. You don't see it necessarily in all the finishes, but, certainly they've been better. So, like I said, I feel like they're headed in the right direction. I don't have any expectations necessarily for this weekend. I think the goals and expectations will probably continue to adjust once I can get through this week and kind of, see where we're at and evaluate from there.
And just for clarification, your Wyndham announcement, as far as what races Wyndham would sponsor, came out yesterday. I've heard you say on 2 shows that you were going to be in the next 5 races.
Yeah.
What does your schedule look like? Have you been given a number as to how many races you'll run?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing, the next 5 in a row, and then all the Wyndham and plus all the Wyndham races that they announced, and there's more on top of that. They didn't want to announce the entire schedule yet that we were running, but those are the ones that we can talk about right now, and the rest of it we're still kind of working on. Yep.
We'll go to Brett, then to Briar, then to Chris and Randy.
Brett Lamb, SpeedwayDigest.com. You've been out of the car for about 6 months now. Could you just describe to the fans of what a veteran driver does to get themselves back into the form and routine before going back out on the track?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, not much with the testing policies and all that. So I haven't been in a car at all since Homestead last year. So really not much. I mean, besides all the mental prep that you can do, with notes and film and things like that. But as far as the driving, really nothing. I mean, my training has been the same or probably more than last year because I've had more time. So physically, there's nothing really different. Just kind of getting the mental stuff ready. But didn't get a chance to get in the car at all. Was hoping I could get in the car and at least drive one a little bit and kind of get acclimated with their systems and kind of the way they do things. But that's what I'm looking forward to here in about an hour, I guess.
Briar?
Briar Star, Speedway Media. You're obviously coming back this weekend. Winning is an expectation, but what are your kind of like general expectations do you have for the rest of the weekend?
The rest of the weekend? I don't have any expectations for the weekend, to be honest with you, because I just don't know. I haven't been in a car yet. I don't know, how fast we'll get up to speed. What are the things that we're gonna fight, that type of thing. So I don't really know. I came into this weekend pretty much with no expectations, pretty much just kind of open mind and, kind of take it, one practice at a time, one session at a time, that type of thing, and go from there.
Okay, we'll go next to Randy.
Hi, Matt. Randy Kovitz, Kansas City Star, USA Today, you name it. Couple things. Number one, what'd you miss most out of this hiatus, or what did you appreciate most being away from this? How's it been these last 6 months for you? Number one.
I'd say, the fans and the competition. I mean, the thing you miss the most is always the competition. I mean, that's why started racing on Friday and Saturday nights, with a couple hundred people in the stands and against all the rest of the drivers, is because you like to compete. So I think when you're not competing, if there's one thing you could pick out, that's probably the part you miss the most. So as far as how the last 6 months have been, they've been great. Honestly, I don't think I've ever had a better period in my life. So that's been really good.
So you've been racing locally in Wisconsin on local tracks? Is that what you've been doing?
No.
Oh, I thought you just said that. What?
Yeah, 30 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, I was talking about like when you first started racing.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of what you started for, is because you're competitive and you love to compete. And I think through your whole career, in any professional sport, I think that's the one constant, is you love to compete no matter what level it's at. So not competing in anything in the last 6 months is probably, if I had to pick one thing that I would miss about it, that would be it.
I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Second thing is, you've got this schedule with Rush this year, but what's your long-term goal? I mean, do you want to kind of show that, hey, you still do belong in this sport? You won late last year at Phoenix, and I've got you with 39 wins. I'm sure you'd like to kind of get into that 40 neighborhood. Just what would you like this to lead to?
Professionally, I don't know that I really have a long-term goal. As far as the rest of it, I don't feel like I have anything to prove to anybody either. So, short-term, I hope to help the organization. I mean, that's kind of why Jack and I decided to do this. They needed to get their performance up. He's hoping I can help with that. I'm hoping I can help with that. It's yet to be seen. Haven't been on the racetrack yet, so I'm not really thinking very far out at the moment, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to, concentrate on this and do the best we can this weekend, and kind of evaluate, see where we're at, try to do better next week, and so on and so forth.
Nick?
Yep.
Nick Bromberg, Yahoo Sports. You said you had no expectations, and so how do you enter this practice? Do you sit here and say, all right, I'm going to go attack it with a qualifying lap like you would typically do in a different situation? Or do you try to do a few race laps, get a shakedown of the car, and then see what you have for qualifying speed later?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 2-day schedule, so it's different. I mean, all you get is 2 50-minute practices today, so I'm going to assume that most people are going to work on race trim most of the time. So, we're no different, but even if it was a normal Friday, Saturday, Sunday schedule, we would probably run some race laps, just because I haven't been in one of these cars for a while. Haven't been in a Roush car for a long while, so just to kind of get acclimated and hopefully get up to speed, probably take a few laps, kind of get comfortable and do all that, and then hopefully work on qualifying later this afternoon.
Do you anticipate any, adjustment period in terms of learning what your limit is in the car? Do you think it's going to come back up?
With which part? I'm sorry.
Learning where your limit is in the car. Do you anticipate
I think most of that comes pretty natural. If you can't tell where that is anymore, then you're probably in, a fair amount of trouble. So, I mean, I think it takes, I'm sure it's going to take a little bit of time, but I'm talking minutes, not hours, to kind of get, readjusted to everything and make sure everything's fit. You might have to come in a couple times and adjust a few things, whatever. But I think as far as getting up on the speed of the track, I mean, I'm not extremely concerned about having 6 months off. I remember Kyle Busch had about 6 months off, and he came back pretty strong a few years ago. So I'm not, extremely concerned about that.
Go next to Jeff and then to Todd.
Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. I noticed that you've really been keeping up a strong physical fitness regimen. Is that because just your lifestyle and trying to be healthy, or in the back of your mind were you just also waiting to see if you get this opportunity, you wanted to stay in race shape?
I think for me, especially as you get older, I think you think a little bit more about your health and staying in shape and, you know, eating and exercising, all that. I enjoy training. I love running with Katie. I enjoyed doing that half marathon last fall. Enjoy riding my bike. It's not quite as enjoyable when you're doing a lot of miles by yourself, but I've been trying to get back in shape to do the Salt on Mount Mitchell on Monday, so that was the main thing why my miles have been up and trying to get ready for that. You know, as far as trying to stay in shape for this, I don't know that'd be any different. I've probably been training maybe even a little bit more, you know, not going to the track every week because I've had a little bit extra time. You know, I really felt like something like this was going to happen this year, and I was probably going to do some racing this year, but didn't know if or when that was going to pop up. But, you know, certainly you try to stay in physical and mental shape and pay some attention and be ready for it just in case.
Is it fair to say that you're in the best shape you've ever been in?
Man, I don't know. I mean, you know, definitely the last 3 or 4 years, I've probably been in the better physical shape than I've ever been in. But, you know, it's, if you'd have trained like this, obviously, when you're in your 20s or 30s, you'd be in better shape than you are today. But yeah, I mean, I feel good.
Go to Todd and then to Claire.
I was kind of curious, listening to your answer to some of the other guys. Have you been glued to the TV during races, or have you been trying to avoid watching the races in, you know, say February, March? And then two, also, if you could, kind of a separate question, what does it mean to get this chance to maybe go out a little bit more on your own terms, you know, and kind of, you know, cast your ending for yourself rather than kind of the way things went at the end of last season?
I have not been glued to the TV. Certainly the last few weeks when I knew I was doing this, I've you know, watched more and you know, read more competition, you know, related stuff than I did earlier in the year. Earlier in the year, you know, not as much, but honestly, it's pretty busy at our house, you know, and kids go to school all week, and we have Saturdays and Sundays off. You know, probably spend more time running around with them and spending time with them more so than watching the TV. But certainly I've paid attention, and the last few weeks I've certainly watched more of it than I did before that. I haven't even given that a thought, to be honest with you. That doesn't, that part doesn't really matter to me, I guess.
Claire?
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. I know you've been getting your car ready at the shop and that sort of thing. What about the digital dash and things inside the car that you guys have been working on to make it comfortable, or that has been different, or the different feel of it for you?
Well, I mean, I haven't been on a racetrack yet, but that's all stuff you can kind of, you know, set up at the shop. And, you know, I basically have, you know, we went through all that and got what I thought I was comfortable with, and basically where I've been before with it all. And everything seems like it's going to fit pretty similar. So you never know 100% for sure until you get on the track and run some laps. But it seems like that's all pretty close and buttoned up.
What do you like on the dash?
Just whatever information they want and a little bit of information that I want. So I've done it pretty much the same since they came out with it.
Well, Matt, it's great to have you back.
Thanks.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah.